right, when you want to start the tutorials, all you need to do is open up your SolidWorks, find the question mark at the top of your menu bar. Now, it might be different depending on your version. I'm in SolidWorks 2022. In this, tutorials are hidden under the help question mark in the top right corner. I click that, and click on tutorials, and it brings up this screen. Now that might shift your windows apart. That's okay, just bring them back to a place where it's going to work for you. These tutorials always work best if you've got dual screens, okay? But as a beginner on SolidWorks, more than likely you're going to be working on a single screen. That's fine, that's how everyone starts. There's nothing wrong with that at all. What I'm going to do here is just resize my window to put my tutorials up on the side right next to my SolidWorks windows. Now that first one that we're going to do is here, lesson 1 parts. And number 2 on the list, assemblies, is also here. After that, the other tutorials can be found under all SolidWorks tutorials in this list. So let's start with lesson 1, parts. So let's go through. In this lesson, you create your first SolidWorks part. You can begin with the first section or skip to a later section to bypass tasks you already know how to do. We're going to assume you're starting from scratch. So we'll go through each of these elements and complete this part. Now, how these tutorials are set up in SolidWorks, in the bottom right is usually like the next step. Now I'll just lift that up so you can see it clearly there. Okay, and it'll give you a hint or give you a description of what that next thing is. So, creating and saving a part document. Click New. Now, with the tutorials here, if you click these shortcuts or click these highlighted icons, it's going to highlight in SolidWorks where those buttons are. Very handy for starting to learn the user interface and understanding where things are. Click New and double click Part. Now, your file is going to look something like this. Click on Part, click OK, ignore that. I'm using a blank template. And click Save, and press the Save icon here. Now, this is asking you to save the file, and it teaches you this right at the very start because SolidWorks likes to crash a lot at very bad times. So don't tell them I said that. But create a nice drive for your tutorials. Create a nice folder for your tutorials. Save the file. Do as it says. Tutor 1 and done. And click Save. And then we can click Next Topic down in the bottom right. Creating the base. Extrude a rectangle with one corner in the origin dimension as shown. Okay. So you have to sketch it. Now it says click Extruded Boss Base in the features in the toolbar. The front and top right planes appear and the pointer changes to a cursor with select a plane. All right, let's follow this. All right. Now I've just used my middle mouse button to rotate the view around so we can see all 3 planes. As you hover the pointer over a plane, the border of the plane is highlighted, as you can see here. Select the front plane. So we want to highlight that and then left click. The display changes to, so the front plane faces you. This is called normal to, so we're looking directly at that plane. The sketch toolbar commands appear in the command manager, the command manager being this bar across the top of the screen, and a sketch opens in the front plane. Now we're going to do a corner rectangle. Corner rectangle is here. Corner rectangle, we're going to start one corner on the origin. So I left click here, I drag my mouse, and I click again over here. Now before I set any measurements, let's just get back into that. Okay, so I've dropped my 2 sides. When the pointer is on the origin, it changes to a yellow relation indicator. That yellow indicator, which is this one, tells you that if you drop that point there, it's going to add that relation. Beautiful. It says you don't have to be exact with the dimensions. I guess they don't want to. I'll dimension in the next tool. Okay. Release the corner rectangle tool by doing one of the following. The easiest way to do that is Escape on the keyboard. And let's go to the next step, dimension the base. Now we're going to click Select on the standard toolbar. What? Oh, I've never used that button. Okay. Select. You hit Escape. You hit Escape, it should always go to Select. Color tags show sketch relations. The tags the SolidWorks software added when you created the rectangle indicate vertical, horizontal, and coincident relations. So you see these these green dots with a line running straight up. Vertical, that's a vertical relation. Horizontal, horizontal relation. This one, coincident relation. Coincident means that that corner of the rectangle is coincident with the origin being that red marker that we've got in space there. The sides of the rectangle that touch the origin are black. Because you started sketching at the origin, the vertex of these 2 sides is automatically coincident with the origin, shown by the symbol. This relationship constrains the sketch. What does constrain mean? Constrain something is to add a restriction to the geometry of the model. In this case, by starting a sketch at the origin, you made the corner of the rectangle coincident with the origin. Relations and dimensions constrain geometry in parts. Mates constrain components in assemblies. Relations can be added manually or automatically. This one was added automatically, and what it means is that this line can't move side to side. The line can still move up and down because we haven't added a dimension yet to constrain the length of the line, but the position of the line is constrained. Drag one of the blue sides or drag the vertex to resize the rectangle, as you can see here. Click Smart Dimension and click the top edge, and we're going to click above the line again to drop the dimension. We're going to set the value to 120. Now, if you have a number pad on your keyboard, get used to inputting the numbers on that. Press Enter. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. It's also going to be 120. And then you can see that it's resized the sketch to make both of those dimensions the same. And that's square 120 by 120. Now this is where I would love for them to have put in an equal relation and teach you right from the start about relations. So let's do that. We're going to select this line here. We're going to hold Control on the keyboard. Should probably turn this on. We're going to hit this line here, and then we're going to hold Control on the keyboard and hit the top line. And we're going to go to our Add Relations toolbar on the left and click Equal. That means that 120 dimension is controlling both lines. You don't need two separate dimensions of the same number. The sketch is now fully defined, shown in the status bar at the bottom of the SolidWorks window. That is down here, fully defined. Cool. Next, extruding the base. Click Exit Sketch on the toolbar. Now, if we did extrude base and you didn't stuff it up like I did, it would automatically go into Boss Extrude Property Manager. It hasn't done that, so I'm going to select that sketch and click Extrude Bus Base, and here it comes to the default. Now, my default is set to 0.5 millimeter, so it looks very, very thin. In the Property Manager, under Direction 1, select Blind in the air condition, which it already is, and then set the depth to 30. So we're going to change D1 to 30. Hit Enter. Now, wherever it says, wherever the tutorial says click the tick, that means the tick up here in your Property Manager. So I can hit that tick, and now I've created an extrude. Congratulations, your first solid body. Another shortcut you get used to is Control S for save. Now the new feature, Boss Extrude 1, appears in the Feature Manager design tree and in the graphics area. You can press Z to zoom out or Shift Z to zoom in. I prefer using my scroll wheel in the middle of my mouse, and the main shortcut I'll use for zooming to fit is F on my keyboard. Click Shaded with Edges on the View toolbar. Don't want that toolbar. Get out of here. Use this one here, Shaded with Edges. And okay, we're going to add another boss. Extrude a boss centered on the model and dimensioned as shown. 70 mm diameter, 25 mm depth. Click the front face. So at this point, you would have learned that we can sketch on a plane. We selected the front plane for our first sketch. On this one, we're going to select a face. You can only sketch on flat faces. This being a rectangular, it is flat, so no problem sketching here. I'm going to select this face, and SolidWorks wants you to select Extrude, but I'm going to tell you instead to just start a new sketch by clicking this little shortcut icon right here. SolidWorks, with the settings, default settings, automatically takes me normal 2, and now I can sketch my circle. So I go to the circle on the toolbar, I bring it to the middle, click and drag, and there's my circle. Sorry, let me say that again. I've got the circle tool, click once, let go of the cursor, drag the cursor, click again, and that drops the circle. And then I'm going to do Start Smart Dimension on the circle and set the value to 70. Now we want to constrain this boss, we want to get it right in the middle. Now again, here SolidWorks teaches you to dimension. We know that the width of this is 120, so SolidWorks suggests, well, you should probably dimension the circle to be 60 from the middle. The dimension's right, but the correct way to do this is without dimensions and using relations. So I'm going to right click on that top line, select midpoint, hold Control on my keyboard, select the center point of that circle and make it vertical. I'm going to right click on the right edge, select midpoint, hold Control, select the midpoint of the circle, press horizontal. No dimensions required. to constrain the location of that circle. Just vertical horizontal relations, so long as your design intent is to keep the circle that you're adding centered in that rectangle. Okay. This is where the tutorials let you down. So good thing that we're doing them. Extruding the boss. All right, so now we can go to Features Extrude, and we're just going to add in the dimension, which is 25. Now, instead of hitting the tick, you can see on my cursor, the cursor for a second there. Never mind. So we hit Extrude, we put in the dimension, 25. Now you can see on my cursor there, it's got a tick on the right mouse button. That means if I click with the right mouse button, it's going to press OK. It's going to confirm. So we do that, and there is our Extrude 2. Save. Next step, making the hole. Next, we cut a hole through the part by sketching the hole and then extruding it. The hole radius is 10 millimeters less than the boss. To sketch the hole, we're going to click on this face, click Sketch. We're going to grab the circle tool by clicking on the Sketch toolbar. Now to find the center point of where we should put this circle, we're going to hover over the edge of the existing circle. And then you can see it brings up 4 points around that circle at, let's say, northeast, south, and west. And then the center point of the circle. The center point of the circle, if we hover there, you can see a coincident relation is being previewed. If we drop our circle there, it's going to add that coincident relation to the center point of the circle. Perfect. Then we drag out, we're going to drop, hit Smart Dimension tool, and we're going to add, here it says a dimension of 50. So let's put that in, and then we can see where that sketch is. Now we're going to cut the hole. Now, we don't not have to exit sketch. You can skip that step. You don't have to change the view, although you can if you want to. So trimetric here on your view, standard views toolbar, which is the same as here. Trimetric will take you to this view angle, none of which is actually needed to do this cut. All we need to do is go to Features, Extruded Cut, and change the end condition from blind to through all. Press the tick, done. Now, very quick intro to fillets. We're going to create a couple of different fillets here. 5 mil radius for the edges, the edge between the base and the boss, and the corners of the base and the front perimeter, and then a 1.5 mil radius for the top edges. Now, when you're doing fillets like that, there's a few different ways of selecting those elements to create those fillets. We're going to hit the fillet tool, and we're on a constant size fillet, so we're only going to do all the 5 millimeter fillets at once. We take type 5 for the radius. We're going to select that face. It's going to add a fillet to all the edges connected by that face. Now we also want to add fillets to these edges. So I'm going to click on the side, and I'm going to click all 4 of those outside edges. Now, to rotate my view around, I'm holding the middle mouse button down, my scroll wheel, and I'm rotating. And when I have all my fillets done, press OK. And next I'm going to do a fillet on that top face. This time, I'm going to change the dimension to 1.5. Select that top face, right click, OK, and that's done. I think the last little feature they're going to show you is how to do a shell. This is quite cool for plastic modeling. We're going to go Features, Shell. Sorry, it tells you on the next step. We're going to select this back face. We're going to select Show Preview, where the yellow lines show you a preview of what that shell is going to do. It's going to remove all this material. And we're going to change the thickness to 2. Now you can type the thickness in, or you can use these arrows here to upgrade to increase the size in increments based on your default increments, which in my version of SolidWorks is 0.5 of a millimeter. You can change that later. I'm going to press OK, and now it has created a shelled part. Now SolidWorks in this tutorial also shows you how you can create a section view. Create a section view here by pressing the section view button, and then you can change the plane that the section view is on. You can click on the arrow and drag to see where that section view or what the section of your part looks like in different positions. Section view does not change any geometry. It is just showing you a temporary view with some material sliced away. When you're done with the section view, press the tick. It will keep it in position while you continue to work. If you want to see everything again, you just press the section view button and we'll turn it off. Now, there's a couple more aspects to this tutorial. One here is showing you how to edit the base feature. So we're going to increase the depth, modify the edge fillets, and recreate the face fillets. All right, so to edit the base feature, double click on the boss extrude. No, we don't need to do that. What does it want us to do? It wants to change the 30 to 50. Okay. So you can skip everything it says here. Click on where it says 30, type in 50, press enter, updates. Next step, modifying the base fillets. So the base fillets were created in a single feature, but you want to change the radius of just the edge fillets. To do this, you have to remove the fillets on the front face of the base and add them back. Yep, that's fair. Okay, so we're going to go to this fillet 1 feature here and click edit feature. We're going to click on this face to remove it from the selections and press OK. Now to recreate them, we have to use the rollback bar. To recreate the face fillets you removed, you add a fillet before the shell feature. If you add it after the shell feature, the filleted area is not shelled. The Feature Manager design tree, in the Feature Manager design tree, place the pointer over the rollback bar, which is this blue line you see at the bottom of your tree. And you see the little hand shape that you get when you roll over it. We're going to click on that and drag up before the shell. What that does is move your model back in history to before that shell occurring. So if we turn around our model, we can see that here, that shell hasn't happened yet. If you grab that rollback bar, you roll back down, you can see that's where the shell happens. So we roll up, and now we're going to add a fillet. And this time, I don't know why it says the model shows the last radius of 10 millimeters, because we use 1.5. It's even got 5 in the default here, so I don't understand that. I'm going to select that face again, keep the 5 millimeter radius, press OK, and roll back. So did they even change any dimensions? They changed that one to 10. Well, here's how to change that dimension. Click on one of those fillets, see the dimension here, 5, click on that, type in 10, press enter, done. When we're done here, drag the rollback bar back down, the shell will update, and then it says add a realistic appearance. Okay, let's turn on real view graphics. All right, if you've got a good computer, that will be accessible. To add materials, we click on this appearances seen in decals button. Click on appearances. It wants you to add chrome stainless steel. So we're going to go to metal. Ooh, it's doing it a different way. I'm adding an appearance, but it actually wants to add the metal. Well, let's do it the way they want. Assign a material. Select the part name at the top of the Feature Manager design tree. Right-click, select Material, Edit Material. In the Material dialog box, extend Steel, which is here. Select Chrome Stainless Steel. Here, press Apply and Close. You can see it's added a different material to our part. That material can be seen here in the feature tree, and you can see the appearance has changed. I typically don't like to have real view graphics on because see all this black stuff here? I can't see any of that geometry while I've got this kind of material applied. So I like that off. I don't mind adding materials to parts. I think that's worthwhile. But yeah, keep real view off. And that is the end of this tutorial, the first tutorial. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll continue shortly on to lesson number 2. Assemblies. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful and found something new to enhance your SolidWorks skills. Don't forget to subscribe to Fully Defined for more tutorials, tips and insights from a certified SolidWorks expert. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. If you have any questions or topics you'd like me to cover, leave a comment below. I read all comments and love hearing your feedback. Remember, with the right skills and tools, you can turn your design dreams into reality. Keep modeling, keep learning, and always fully defined.